Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. So we are approaching camp championship season across country, right? The last couple weeks, and hopefully the folks that are not running cross country took advantage of the fall to in, get in shape and get fit for track season, which is right around the corner. Winter track, indoor track, and or getting ready to train through or for outdoor track, depending on where you're at. Some places don't have indoor track. So, but I wanted to go over today training schedules for sprinters, short sprinters and long sprinters. I have folks that not only asking me here, but are asking me on TikTok as well. We spend a lot of time talking about middle distance, cross country, and so on and so forth. Well, you happen to be a coach that coaches all the events in the teams. It might be good to have this information, right? Again, short and long sprints, scheduling out weekly training. And again, if you're a new athlete or a coach here, welcome to the channel. And again, if you enjoy the content enough to come back, please make sure that you hit the like button. Please make sure you're subscribed. I'll make sure that you don't miss anything. If you do subscribe, just turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when we go live. We go live every weekend as well. You'll know exactly when we go live and what I'm going to be talking about. So, and you can bring your questions. If you have suggestions on live topics that you want me to do, bring them forth in the comments, in the chat, whatever you want. Okay. And my email is blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. Again, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. Okay. So for folks that need more insight, need help or any type of guidance, or just have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will respond. Okay. But again, talking about sprints, right? Particularly short sprints, but long sprints as well. Consistency and progress is the key, right? Being consistent, developing a pattern of consistency that allows you to kind of not only build muscle memory, but get used to doing things. And everything's a gradual process. Fall is a great time to get not only fit, but to work on stuff. Even basic things like handoffs and down starts and so on and so forth. That way you're ahead of the game when track season starts. Okay. Variety in training is another thing too. Just because you're a short sprinter, long sprinter doesn't mean that everything needs to be short and fast every day. Having variety in training keeps things fun, but it also puts you in a position to not only get fit, but again, as a short sprinter and long sprinter, we tend to run more than one race at a track meet. For the most part, there are exceptions, but we need to be strong enough and fit enough to be able to withstand that, right? And be able to recover enough and to hopefully not get hurt. Okay, sprinting can be volatile too. If folks aren't ready for it, it's easy to get hurt. Okay, this is why building speed and strength is so important. I learned this from Clyde Hart. May he rest in peace. The famous quarter mile coach, 200, 400 meter coach from Baylor University. He was Michael Johnson's coach, Jeremy Warner's coach. He was probably best quarter mile coach in history. And he always emphasized endurance, having an endurance component to training, right? And people are like, well, you don't need endurance for this. You're sprinters. And he's like, no, well, you want to perform in the championships? You need to be strong enough to do that. And again, not only is technique and fitness is important, but aerobic conditioning is important too. Why? Particularly in the 400, when you're at that 300 mark and your legs start getting heavy, lactic, the gorillas jumping on your back, right? The grizzly bears just on your back. That's when you're going to need to tap into your aerobic conditioning to help fight the lactic that's built up in your legs, right? This is where it's so important to have a combination of aerobic fitness and strength and speed. Okay, a lot of it's going to be anaerobic in nature, obviously, and event-specific in nature, but there's an endurance component that I know a lot of folks generally do not take advantage of. And then they find themselves sometimes looking at the people in front of them. And we don't want to do that, right? Which is why I want to put forth a schedule. I'm going to give you a schedule for short sprinters and one for long sprinters. Most of them it's similar, but there are some differences. But again, here we go. Okay, short sprints, you have on the screen here. Monday, I generally dedicate for pure speed. As always, is a good warm-up, okay? Spend a good amount of time doing plyometrics and muscle-specific exercises. Get the muscles fired up and ready to go. Make sure you put that WD-40 in the muscles and the joints with a good stretch routine and a good warm-up routine. And the sequence of this stuff is really, really important too, okay? So I've talked about this a lot in the videos as well. So when you do your warm-up, let's just say it's a half mile to a mile long. It doesn't always have to be super long. Okay, and then a good amount of plyometrics and exercises and so on and so forth, triggering the muscles that are going to be needing to run fast, particularly the stuff that's behind you, meaning your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes, right? Those are your primary push-off muscles. You want to make sure that everything's firing on all cylinders. So we dedicate pure speed on Monday, like 30s, 40s, 50 meters, and so on and so forth, with a down start. And just work on exploding out the blocks and work on your dry phase, okay? Not necessarily need to be upright completely as soon as you get out the blocks. It's a gradual thing. And if, let's just say at 100 meters, the longer you can delay getting into your complete upright phase, the better off you're going to be, because you're going to run at top speed towards the end of the race, not necessarily in the beginning or the middle. So working on the phases is a really important component here. Okay, so that's Monday. Tuesday, speed endurance. I talk about speed endurance 200s all the time. Okay, this is where you take a 2-minute recovery. Let's just say you built to 8 reps as a short sprinter. And on occasion, you might run a 4x4. So, and let's just say you can run 8 times, build towards 8 reps of 200 with a 2-minute recovery of 28, 29 per rep. Doesn't sound like super fast, because it isn't, but this is the type of speed endurance stuff that's going to build collectively and compound every single week as you do it. So this is a good time to continue to build that strength. And this is where you can also build speed through strength. Okay, so building to 8 reps as a short sprinter. Then more Wednesdays, and obviously you have your cool down on the back end, of course, every day. And then you have your event specific work on Wednesday. Let's just say it's hard hundreds, or 4 times 100, or 4 times 150, with plenty of rest, right? 6-8 minutes, whatever. Working on running these really, really fast, especially if you're 100, 200 runner, and you're going to be running a 200, if you can even hop up to run a 3 and so on. You want to run these as quickly as you possibly can and take advantage of the rest. Okay, that's event-specific work Wednesday. Thursday, we do hill work. Let's just say it's similar distances as the stuff on Monday. 30s, 40, 50s, or whatever it might be. Let's just say it's 6 times a 40 on the uphill. And the shorter hills are generally steeper. The longer hills are generally a little bit more gradual. So it really is up to you to decide what you want to do that particular week. Okay, but hill running, and again, hill running is also a great way of building leg strength and speed without having to do the pounding on a track, on a flat track. So this is less invasive to the legs, but no less beneficial. Okay, it's hill work Thursday. Then Fridays, we work on down starts, we work on zone passing. You're doing short rate, like you're doing 4x1, then again, you work on blind handoffs. You're doing a 4x2 or 4x4, you work on visual handoffs. But you want to get used to navigating your way through a crowd to try and accept the baton, particularly in the longer sprints. In the 4x1, you have to stay in your lane, so you don't really have to worry about that as much. Okay, but it's good to practice both types: your blind passing and your visual passing. So these are good things to work on Friday. And then you can finish up with a couple of strides. And then Saturday's either race day or short fartlek run, 2 to 3 miles max, over rolling hills. You attack the uphills, even attack the downhills. It really depends. And you can mix it up every week too. This is essentially your long run for short sprinters. Okay. So now you've got the short, intense speed there. You've got the speed endurance. You got the event-specific stuff. You've got the hill work. Then you've got your events. Excuse me. Your technical specific stuff on Friday. Working on your down starts. Again, do it on Monday. You do it on Friday too. But the emphasis here is mainly on the down starts on Friday. On Monday, it's getting into the dry phase from the down start. Okay. And then you work on your passing, baton passing, all year. The more you do in the fall, the better off you're going to be when track season starts. So it's a good time to be doing it in the fall, in particular, during cross country. And then, like I said, short fartlek run 2 to 3 miles on Saturday, attack the hills. Sunday's an off day. So that's your short sprinters. Okay, let's go to the long sprinters. There are some differences. The same thing on Monday, good warm-up drills and strides every day, and then you cool down. Well, Mondays, they also dedicate to pure speed out the blocks. But a little bit longer, instead of 30s, 40s, 50s, now you got 30s, 50s, 70s, 90s, because these are folks that are generally 200, 400 folks. So building towards the longer accelerations over time as well. Give yourself ample recovery. Explode out the blocks. Work on your dry phase. Okay. And you can even set cones and say, okay, this is where 70 is, where 90 is, where 50 is, and so on. And speed endurance 200s on Tuesday. Now you build towards 10 reps instead of 8. Same emphasis too. If you're looking to run 50 in the 400 or break 50, 28 to 29, these reps is going to be a great way of building event-specific strength. And it's also good for folks that want to step up to 800 and break 2 minutes. 20, 29 is a sweet spot for that. Okay. So speed endurance 200s on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, event-specific stuff now again. But now you can do, let's just say you do 150s, 4 times a 150, or 3 times a 250, or 2 times a 350, a 400-meter pace. You come through 300 where you want to be to a 400, and so on, right? Give yourself plenty of recovery. Give yourself 10 minutes in between the reps if you need to. Okay? Plenty of recovery. And just work on hitting your markers, hitting your splits as best you possibly can for the event-specific stuff. It's going to make it easier to lock in on a track day, on a race day. Hill work on Thursday. Similar emphasis, but you can kind of follow the same model as you do on Monday, right? 30s, 50s, 70s, 90s, and so on. The steeper the hill gets, like I said, the more gradual it becomes. Okay, well, the longer I should say. The shorter the hill, the steeper it gets. Excuse me. So hill work on Thursday, good strength day. Then Friday, same thing. A little run, you do warm up, you work on down starts and zone passing. Both. Okay, this is a good time. They also get used to your teammates and who you might be. You might know at this point, okay, who's going to be my relay? And it gives you an opportunity to work with your teammates on a regular basis before the track races start. That way you get a feel for each other's passing zone and so on and so forth. You kind of know what to look for. There are things you can always, checkpoints you can keep an eye on. So that's Friday. Then Saturday, obviously, is a race day or a short fartlek run. Short fartlek run here is 3 to 4 miles instead of 2-3 miles. Okay. Now, these schedules are primarily for the track season as well. There's some slight differentials during the fall, during cross country. My longer reps get a little bit longer and so on. So that's a little bit of a different conversation for another day. But I can do that as well if anybody wants me to do that. Just let me know in the comments or let me know in an email. And obviously, Sunday's an off day. Okay. So that's a week of training for short sprinters, week of training for long sprinters. You modify it as you see fit as a coach or an athlete, right? But I found this to be successful. I've been coaching the last 2 decades plus. I found this to be successful. I kind of modified it throughout the years, but it enables me to get all the things that I want to get in training-wise with my athletes, right? And without compromising at any point their ability to be ready to, run a fast race or run 2 of them at a track meet. Run a fast one, you recover well enough to come back and run a double later. Right? If you're doing a 55 or a 60, come back in a 4x2. You're doing a 300, come back in a 4x2. Whatever it might be. 300, come back in a 4x4. 60, run a 4x4. It's a whole bunch of different combinations. But this training gets you ready for all of them. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, please reach out to me. My apologies for the allergies kind of getting to me today. But I hope you found this helpful. We'll elaborate on it a little bit more this weekend. So bring your questions at any point in time. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.